Welcome back, folks, to Let's Play Broken Sword 2, and when last we left off, George has managed to find and rescue Nico. Unfortunately, they're now both trapped on the upper floor of Condor Transglobal, as the only thing that's stopping people from getting up to where they are and killing them is the fact that this crate is blocking the light sensor, which means that the elevator remains open. But before we try and find a way to escape, we need to have a long conversation with Nico, and find out just what's going on here. And we'll start with Condor Transglobal.
Okay, tell me what you know about Condor.
Condor Transglobal exports Aztec and Mayan relics from Central America to Europe. But that's just a cover for the real business. Drug smuggling.
What proof do you have?
Nothing yet.
We may not be able to find any proof either, because I imagine if we so much as go anywhere near any building owned by Condor Transglobal now, they'll shoot first and ask questions never.
Do you know where Condor is based?
In Central America. A place called Quaramonte.
I saw that name on a docket downstairs.
Well, we know why now. Let's talk about Karzak.
Tell me about this Karzak guy.
Well, I saw him for only a few minutes, but he frightens me. I got the impression that Pablo was nervous when he was around too. His eyes, they're like a wild animal's, like a tiger. That's what scared me most about him. He looked so unpredictable and dangerous.
I hope we'll never encounter him, although I think that's wishful thinking at this point, as we're likely not in his good books. Let's talk about Oubier's wife.
Did you know Oubier's wife was a film star?
No, I didn't know he was married. What happened to her?
She died. In mysterious circumstances, apparently.
How mysterious.
I heard she was murdered. Possibly by Oubier himself.
A murderer, huh? André said he was something of a celebrity.
Now we need to talk about this topic. Now this topic is an interesting one.
Did I hear you refer to Inspector Moon?
Yes, you remember him?
Of course I remember him.
Of course I do. But I thought he was dead.
Oh no, he reappeared after the broken sword case had blown over. When he found out who was in with the Neo-Templars, he went into hiding. Moon knew more than was good for him.
Does he know about our involvement with the case?
If he does, he's not telling. Still, he got a sudden promotion.
Maybe that will be handy to us at some point, having an ally in that police force. Let's talk about this person now.
Did that Indian guy mistreat you?
If you forget about the abduction, verbal threats, and bondage, no.
Well, what about the little guy?
I don't think he knows where he is or what he's doing here. The big guy, Pablo, he brought Titipoco from the jungle.
Titty what?
Titipoco. That's what I heard Pablo call the dwarf.
Well, at least we have a name for that man now. And let's talk about the dart.
Do you recognize this?
Is that the dart which knocked me out?
That's right. I kept it as a souvenir.
I don't think she's very happy about that fact. Now let's ask about the statue.
Have you any idea who this little statue is supposed to be?
I'm not very well acquainted with Mayan deities, George. But whatever his name, he sure is ugly.
Let's ask about the manacles.
Look, the little guy downstairs was chained up with these.
That must have been Pablo's doing. I don't blame him, though. That little guy is dangerous.
You're still sore about that poison dart?
Of course I'm sore.
One more conversation topic here, and this one's going to be an interesting one.
I found these in your bag.
Oh, they were a gift.
I know. I read the note.
God knows what was going through Andre's mind.
I think that's quite plain enough.
There's nothing more we can talk about. Maybe there's something in here, though, that I've missed. I didn't look very carefully through here. We have a lot of items. Let's actually have a look at all of the new items that we have. Like this rope.
It was the rope the Indian had used to tie Nico to a chair. Boy, what a souvenir.
And this.
It was the strip of masking tape which the big Indian had used to gag Nico.
Let's go in here and see if there's anything that I missed at all. It's not likely there's anything that I missed, but it's always worth having a look. Just moving your mouse pointer around everywhere, and no. Nothing. Back in here we go. Maybe we could use this here. Perhaps we can use the rope and move that into that door and break the door. Let's see if we can do that. And then we'll use this on that, maybe? On this?
The rope wasn't long enough to reach the pulley.
Ah. Maybe we could use the manacles to lengthen the rope? No, we can't do that. What about the masking tape? No. How are we going to, do that? That is a curious question. We do definitely want to, do that. We want to move this so that it's attached to that, but right now we can't. Maybe if we move this over to there, that's what we could do.
I didn't want to risk dropping the crate and releasing its live contents.
We're going to need to, do that. Oh, there's an idea. This could block the sensor. Let's try that.
Hopefully, the tape would prevent those doors from closing and stop the Indian from being able to call the elevator.
Which means that we can move the crate back, and we can use that to place the statue on top of that. Aha, now we can move this over to here. And then we can move this, or at least find out what's in it. And then we can use this to lift this up, hopefully. Let's give it a try.
The pallet rose about 6 inches off the floor, and I said a silent prayer to whoever had discovered the power of hydraulics.
What on earth are you doing?
Trying to raise the statue so I can hook it to that pulley.
Is that really going to help us?
I like to keep myself occupied in times of stress.
Also, I think we're just going to use this statue to smash into that door.
The statue looked way too heavy for me to move.
But the rope isn't. We'll attach this to this. And then we'll move this.
I didn't want to remove the rope from the pulley.
Why don't we move the statue then?
The statue looked way too heavy for me to move.
Maybe we might need help with this. Let's talk to Nico. 2 people could possibly push it.
There was nothing else I wanted to talk to Nico about at that time.
Why don't we try and move this? Ah, now that's in the air. Now we can try and push it. Let's see if this works.
It was too heavy for me to move on my own.
There we go. We just needed to get the idea in George's head. Now we can probably ask about getting help to move that. Excellent. We can now ask about the statue.
Could you give me a hand to push this statue?
What for?
This, my dear, is our passport to freedom.
If you say so, dear.
The worst that can happen is that it will fail.
Okay, push! Great teamwork.
Nice to be working with you again, Mr. Stobart.
And now, let's get out of here. Unless we can talk to you about something.
There was nothing else I wanted to talk to Nico about at that time.
Okay, let's go this way. And let's have a look that way first.
The doors had been smashed open.
Hopefully the statue is okay. I don't think the statue is okay. There's a rope, though.
A cable stretched way out across the docks to a building in the distance.
Okay, specifically it's a cable. Can we use it to escape?
I thought about hanging from the cable with my bare hands, but it was too far to the other end of the cable to escape that way.
There's something we could use, though. I'm thinking of the tequila worm, of course.
That was no good.
Okay, you're right, it's no good. But the manacles might work. We could use them to, slide down the rope. Normally you'd use something else, but this is all we have, so I think it's best to improvise.
Nico, I have a great idea.
George, where have you been?
Never mind that. Do you have the Mayan Stone?
Maybe I have, but,
Don't argue, Andre. Give the stone to George.
well, of course, if you say so, Nico.
Thank you so much, Andre.
George, he told me you'd been kidnapped, my dear. I'm glad to see he was mistaken.
Oh, but it was true. If it hadn't been for George, I wouldn't be here now.
It's not finished yet. Karzak's thugs will be back for that stone, you can bet. The best lead that we have is Quaramonte City.
Quaramonte is in Central America. That's where Oubier gets his artifacts.
That's all we needed to know. Come on, George.
Quaramonte, the traveler's rear entrance to Central America. Well, that's how it was translated in the brochure. We didn't know what we were looking for, but the offices of Condor Transglobal seemed a good place to start.
Hey, it's market day. I don't see any cabs. Let's ask someone how to get to Quaramonte City.
Okay. Keep your eyes peeled for any sign of Condor Transglobal.
I'm not sure you'll find any sign of Condor here. But there are lots and lots of people that we can talk to, and lots of people that we can examine. And there's a goat.
Now, I like most animals, but experience had made me wary of goats, and cats, and dogs.
There are lots of animals that you're surely going to be wary of by the end of this series. Let's start looking at everyone.
The guy wasn't showing much enthusiasm selling his wares.
What about anyone over here? We can look at this person.
The old woman was preparing a food that consisted of ground maize and lots of spittle.
I'm not sure we'll be buying that food.
The man was puffing away at a crudely rolled cigar.
Is there anywhere over here? We can go over here and have a look in this direction. Anyone over here? Maybe not. There's someone here.
The woman had an impressive display of gourds.
And we can move over here even more. Also, we are wearing sunglasses. I'm not sure the look suits you, George. Anyone over here? Well, there's you.
The guy was selling fish.
Fair enough. And what about you two?
A couple of musicians stood watching life go on around them. They looked pretty depressed.
And there's also up here. And there's that way we can go. And there's over here we can go too. Let's have a look over here.
George Stobart, well,
Mrs. Henderson. Boy, this is some coincidence, huh?
when you've been married to a fruitcake like Dwayne as long as I have, you stop believing in coincidence.
I'd met Pearl and Dwayne on the other side of the globe in Syria. He was an Army veteran who suspected he was working for the CIA, but wasn't sure. She was less obviously deranged.
We have a lot that we can talk about here, like the tequila worm. We'll talk about the tequila worm later.
Is Dwayne here with you, Mrs. Henderson?
Why, sure, I couldn't leave him home alone. Since Dwayne came back from the war, we couldn't bear to be apart.
So, where is he now?
We ain't speaking.
Uh-oh, what happened?
Why aren't you speaking to Dwayne?
Because he's an old spoil-sport sourpuss. I want to visit one of those old pyramid places, but Dwayne says he has to stay in town.
Right. And you don't want to go on your own.
Well, there's no point in going to the pyramid if there's no one around to take my picture.
Maybe we'll take your picture. Maybe we need to go to that pyramid anyway.
Is Dwayne still working for the CIA?
If he is, he doesn't know it. He's what they call a snoozer.
Don't you mean a sleeper?
No, this is different. He used to think he worked for them, but the psychotherapy cured him of that. What he doesn't realize is that now he really does work for them. At least that's the way I understood it.
This is getting quite complicated.
What brings you to Quaramonte, Pearl?
What takes me just about anywhere's the market.
You drove 2,000 miles to go shopping?
Shopping is my role in the economy of the Great Design, George.
Fair enough. We could ask about the stone.
What do you make of this stone, Pearl?
Oh, that's pretty. What's that thing supposed to be, a rabbit?
I believe it's a coyote.
Well, it sure is cute.
I was surprised she didn't ask me where she could buy one.
I'm surprised too.
What does this mean to you, Pearl?
What cute little feathers. Why, if you had two of those, they'd sure make nice earrings.
This isn't intended for frivolous personal adornment, Pearl. It's a dart, tipped with a fast-acting, muscle-numbing poison.
Pardon me, I stand corrected, honey.
Sometimes I got the feeling that communication with Pearl was like sending signals out into space. Maybe, if you waited long enough, you'd get an intelligent answer back. But it was a long shot.
Let's ask about the statue.
What do you make of this statue, Pearl?
Ooh-wee, that's a spitting image of Dwayne's brother Sheridan. A little less body hair, maybe, but it's him all right.
More importantly, let's ask about the eclipse.
Take a look at this news cutting, Pearl.
You'll have to read it to me, George. I left my specs in a gay bar in Santa Barbara.
Well, it's about an eclipse of the sun, which is due to occur in a few weeks' time.
You'd think the government would warn us about these kind of things.
It's not dangerous or anything. Apparently, the best place to view the eclipse is right here in Quaramonte.
Oh, my.
She didn't appear to be the slightest bit interested.
Boy, that's a happy coincidence, isn't it? The place where we need to go is the place where the eclipse is best to view from. And last but not least, let's ask about a tequila worm.
Look at this, Pearl. A tequila worm.
Don't you bring that thing anywhere as near me, honey. I swear I'll scream like a hog on a hot plate.
And there's nothing more we can talk about.
Catch you later, Pearl.
And so, we have had a conversation with Pearl, and somewhere around here will be Dwayne. And there's Nico, by the goat. Let us have a look at this.
It was the black obsidian stone which had been sent to Nico. One side bore a grotesque image of a dog's head. The other was blank.
Let's talk to Nico. Maybe there's something we can talk about concerning Condor Transglobal. We could talk about a number of things.
Labano tells me he's been seeing a lot of you.
We meet sometimes for lunch, a drink. After you'd gone back to the States, I was pretty lonely, you know.
Lonely? You must have been desperate. Couldn't you just visit the zoo or something?
And we'll talk about the items we've been accumulating. Let's start with the silly one.
Take a look at this, Nico.
That's disgusting, George. Why are you carrying it around with you?
I don't know. I just can't seem to part with it.
Probably because the game isn't going to give us an option to part with it.
Take a look at this.
Mon Dieu. Where did you get that kind of money?
It's not mine. I found that statement at Oubier's house.
And let's ask about the eclipse. Surely she knows of it.
Take a look at this.
An eclipse of the sun. Why the sudden interest in astronomy?
I found the cutting in Oubier's house.
Apparently, it's only visible from Central America.
It's handy, we're right there.
Guess what this is? Go on, guess.
It's wrought iron, probably from a chimney stack on an old stove.
Well, I suppose it could be. How did she know that?
My grandfather used to work in a foundry.
And that's how she knows.
Would you like a biscuit?
Gourmet dog? Have you been eating those things, George?
Sure, they're great.
I don't think you've been eating those things.
Do you have any theories about this stone?
I think that design represents a dog, a Mexican dog.
So, this is the sacred Chihuahua stone? Sheesh.
I don't think it's that, George. And when we come back, folks, there are many people here that we can talk to. We have a lot of investigation to do if we're going to find where Condor Transglobal are located here, and trying to find a taxi. We may be waiting a long time for a taxi. And so, I'll catch you next time, folks, and I'll see you then. Later.